Welcome to Waypoint Connect, and if you're wondering where my guest is, he's behind the camera. Dewald, come join us.
Hey! Dirk man.
So, welcome to Waypoint Connect. I don't need to welcome you, you've been here for every
Yes.
single episode.
Thank you.
But welcome to the other side of the camera.
Thank you.
Dewald, let's just talk about the year as we close it, review what has happened. I'm going to ask you what stood out for you, and then look at what's coming up for 2022, why people should make sure that the internet contract is still in place, and they still have data to receive the new episode.
Yes.
But let's look back at this year. First of all, thank you for your input and effort and planning, because if that didn't happen, then half of the episodes didn't happen. So thank you for that. But for you, what would you say are some of the interviews, conversations that stood out for you?
Yes, obviously we did a lot of episodes, covered a lot of stories. There's still a lot of stories we have to cover.
Yeah.
At the moment, like you know, with the planning, there's a lot of episodes.
So guys, what Dewald is saying is go and live life so that there's stories for us to share.
Please.
That's his challenge.
But yeah, I think some of the stories that definitely stood out to me was Johann.
Okay, so I think disclaimer, the fact that we're highlighting one or two doesn't mean that some of the others aren't important.
Not at all.
Because we don't know whose story connected with who,
Yes.
that we just didn't get feedback from. So this is just simply us reflecting on the year. Okay, but you were saying Johann.
Yes, some of the stories are connected with me personally.
Yeah.
Johann's story, personally, obviously. Just connecting with somebody.
Your age.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to take that personally.
You're great, Dirk, don't worry. But I think it was also good for the viewers to see somebody that age and almost breaking the stigma surrounding, people in ministry. Because,
Yeah, he doesn't fit the mold.
I mean, he's a parkour athlete that worked for Red Bull, but he's also a pastor. So, it's like...
Exactly, yeah.
That almost, in a sense, makes it more real for people.
Yeah.
Which is the point. I mean, stories is what we're made of. And people tend to tell stories when it comes to ministry of like, oh, you have to be this way, this way, this way. But that's not what God intended. He made you a specific way. So step into His story for your life, not the one the world's telling you.
Yeah, your expectation or the world's expectation.
Yeah.
Or your view.
Yes.
Because that's often where we need to be challenged, is how we view, how we see, and we're limiting what God is able to do in us and through us because of what we think the box that we're in, and that box often comes from society.
Yes. Okay, so another couple stories that definitely stood out to me. Not going to go into too much detail because there's like so many stories, but I think the eventful story about prayer and intercession was particularly interesting. It's a topic that's not discussed as much, and for me personally, I know last year it was something I struggled with a lot, was prayer. It's something I always felt a bit awkward about, so that episode meant quite a lot to me, and even through this whole year, I've gotten more intentional with my prayer life, and it's become a lot more easier as I stepped deeper into Christ. And I think just hearing from life group stories in the life groups that I've been so far, a lot of people struggle with prayer because they feel like, oh, we have to pray this way, or if I don't use words like this, it doesn't matter.
They struggle to really step into prayer because they think there's a tick box that I need to tick, and God judges me before I've even started praying based on how I pray and my posture and all of that. Instead of God just welcoming us into His presence and saying, I'm so glad that you want to spend time with me.
Yeah.
But we put these barriers up that make it difficult for us to really step into that space.
And like the crazy thing for me, for my story at least, is this year, people have constantly been asking me to pray with them or for them. And I was like, you're asking like the guy that like struggles with it the most, and now people are constantly asking for it. And I'm like,
and I think
why?
That's God's humor, because it does that.
I was like, oh my god. But yeah, obviously there's a bunch of episodes, so it's a bit difficult to sift through all of them. But I think those are two that particularly stood out to me.
And thank you for asking. The one that stood out for me
What stood out for you then?
is Alice's interview and conversation. I think firstly because it was one of the first ones we did with an outside person, but also because of the story. And I just commend her for courage and what she's gone through and how she's able to encourage people that are going through that similar experience. Because for me, that's never gone through it. There's no way that I can encourage somebody the way that she does. So I really feel that God is using that negative in her life, that bad experience, to be a blessing to other people. So that for me was one of the highlights. But 2022, what are some of the ideas that you have for us? I know we were talking about skydiving, bungee jumping, but what are some of yeah. So keep those donations coming in. That Mauritius weekend still isn't booked yet.
No.
But what are some of the plans for 2022?
So 2022, we have a lot of plans. Obviously, we can make our plans, but God decides what happens. So financially this year, we have had a couple of sponsors, been building up those funds. It's not like we didn't use that money for skydiving, like Dirk said.
Okay.
But our goal is to use Waypoint Connect as a platform to connect with the larger body of Christ. Not just, yes, it's great that Waypointers get to listen to it, but that's not the goal. It's not meant just for Waypointers. It's for the church as a whole. So ideally, once we have enough funds, is to put Waypoint Connect on other platforms other than just YouTube and Facebook and the Waypoint app, which you should download if you haven't already.
If you haven't. And sign into the Waypoint app.
Yes, to get all the messages. But obviously there's other platforms that a lot of people use, like Spotify and Apple Music. But unfortunately, those things cost subscription money, which people don't realize. You can't just upload things and be like, oh.
It's there, The internet's for free, but it's not.
Not really. So obviously we have to create funds for that. Yeah. Luckily this year we have been able to get enough sponsors to, get enough for 1 year
process.
Yes. That's one of the options financially speaking. The other option, which also ties into with another bit of the plans we're making for 2022, is to actually reach out more to other communities to record on site more, because currently most of our episodes have been recorded in studio. Yes, we've shifted around a little bit to different sites within the venue itself with recording, but mostly it's been static within the venue. So our plans are to actually reach out, change locations, go to other people, not just having them come to us, but going to them. Yeah. We actually have an episode planned with the coffee shop Skuro, which is in St. Francis Bay. So we still have to go do that one. That one's been in the pipeline for quite a while. But obviously, those things might cost money, which is, again, money.
Yeah.
It's not something people like to talk about, especially in ministry settings, but it is a reality. We need resources to actually do things. But yeah, financially speaking, those are the plans. Yeah. But that's the boring stuff.
And topic-wise, people-wise?
Yes, so we have a lot of interesting topics so far for next year. We have somebody that's going to tell us about Iron Man. Yes. No, it's a robot hand, but same concept, guys. We have another interview in the pipeline with a girl who's actually planning a play in the park of Shakespeare in the Park. They're currently running a project trying to revive that project, because with COVID, all those drama products, were kind of trashed.
Yeah, so with the drama of COVID, drama was the first.
Yes. there was already
industry
enough
to
drama.
be
They
in.
were like,
Yes,
no.
exactly. We don't need more.
So yeah, so they're currently busy reviving that product or project. So we're going to look into that. But obviously Skuro, another one we mentioned. But yeah, the other key is just to reach out to the community, and we're going to press a bit more into the viewers to hear who they know that we can reach out.
Yeah.
Because yes, we as the team can constantly go and look for people and pray about it, and God will send people. But it also helps when the viewers help us. 'Cause
Exactly.
then-
So if you know somebody in Mauritius that needs to be interviewed, then please contact us. No. If you know anybody that's got an amazing story, and people need to hear that, where they either have gone through something and it's become a testimony in their life, or they making an impact and a difference in their communities, we would love to share those stories with other people. So reach out to us and let us know, and we can set that up with people.
Yeah. And another thing we're planning on, we're going to see how far that goes, but obviously again money, is actually Waypoint Connect merchandise.
Yes.
So we've been running a few ideas, depending on who we can get to help us. But
And if you look under your seat, you will find no.
a Waypoint mug, Connect mug. No, but some of the ideas we have obviously talked about is things like, basic things people can get for fairly cheap, but that they would actually use and enjoy, like maybe stickers for their cars, Waypoint Connect mugs, obviously, to drink and use while they're watching Waypoint Connect on a Thursday, 1 p.m. live. But yeah, those are some of the things we've had, just so that people can actually have something of their own of Waypoint Connect. It's not just a thing that they watch now. Now it's actually a thing that, now I get something more out of it than just the stories, but now I have actually something to support.
Yeah, I'm part of this.
Yeah.
Waypoint Connect's now in my house.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you guys that have been watching, supporting us, and journeying with us throughout the year. So thank you very much for that. We really appreciate it. And we are excited about the year that's coming up, about what Dewald has got planned for us, and love to hear more of your story. So please get in contact with us and share that with us. Dewald, thank you very much for your time, not just now for this episode as a guest, but for all the planning that you put in behind the scenes and all the work that you put in behind the camera. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to actually do this, because, this was just a spur of the moment thing a year ago, and now we're like...
Now it's a career.
Basically.
Without a salary. Guys, so thank you very much for joining us, and remember, have a great week.